good evening, and welcome to Tea Time.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tea Time. I'm so glad you're joining me tonight. Yes, it is Monday. It is 8 o'clock and we are live on YouTube and Facebook. I'm going to talk about my weekend. Oh, it's December 18th, by the way. So we're going to talk about my weekend real quick, get to my guests. All right, so Friday night, I had a Sweet 16 at Marina Del Rey in the Boogie Down Bronx, and that was a lot of fun. And then Saturday, we did Murdered by the Mob at the Iron Bar in the Secret Room in Manhattan. I got the pic of me and Ralph Bracco. There we are. That's Bunny and Vito. And we're going to be doing it again this Friday night, December 22nd. So if you have no plans, it makes a wonderful gift. It's like going to an Italian wedding. You eat, you drink, you sing, you dance. Someone gets whacked and you got to figure it out. And it's very, very interactive. We actually pull people up from the audience to participate. So much fun, and they pay me to do it. It's so much fun. And then Sunday is football, laundry, because we all need clean underwear, and I relaxed at home Sunday night last night, and I watched the original of The Color Purple with Whoopi and Oprah, and it was on Turner Classic Movie Channel, and I enjoyed it. Hey, listen, I have to make an announcement too, just a couple. One is my friend Marianne Mazzano from the Italian Chicks is going to rotate me back into the lineup of female Italian comics in her show. I will be a fill-in, and whenever she needs me and I'm available, I'm going to step in to help her out in that show. It's a fabulous show. Danny Aiello actually endorsed it, so we call it Danny Aiello's Italian Chicks of Comedy, and it's all over. You could go to the site on Facebook. They do Long Island and New Jersey. They were in Boston, and I'm excited to be back into the rotation. Thanks, Matt. I love you. Okay, and for those of you who have not seen Maestro yet, with Bradley Cooper not only starred in it, but he directed it, and moi was in it, and we have a pic, and I can officially put that up now because the movie is out, and that's me. It is a period piece. I loved getting my hair, makeup, and wardrobe done, and we actually filmed my scene. No lines, but Bradley directed me. He was 15 feet from me with those gorgeous blue eyes telling me what to do. I was like, okay. And I actually filmed in Carnegie Hall, which was really cool because I've never been there. I've never been there before. You actually saw the movie, right?
I saw the movie.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was full of a lot of surprises, technical beauty. I just loved it a lot.
This
really
is
did.
Maria Filippone, by the way. She is a writer, producer, director, and dabbled a little bit in acting.
Just a little bit.
So this is my guest, and I'm so excited she's here because I've been asking her to do this for a while, and
Yes,
she
she
was like
has.
very
Yes,
hesitant. And I don't know, and I'm like, yes, you have to.
Be kind, Theresa. We're just having fun.
We're having fun. We're just two girls having a conversation. That's what I told her. So I want everyone to get to know you and how fabulous and talented you are.
Thank you.
Originally from Locust Valley,
Yes.
Long Island girl,
Yes.
but you actually went to high school in California. Is
Yes,
that
I did.
right?
I left when I was about 15 years old, and my mother and I just moved to Monterey, California.
Pretty.
And stayed there for about a year, and then went up to Cupertino, which is Silicon Valley.
Yes.
And went to school there and stayed 7 years, and then we came back.
Yeah.
It was
Did you miss
beautiful.
New York at all? Because that's a tough age to like make
It's
a move.
a very tough age for everything.
Yeah.
But I think it wasn't a question of missing New York. It was a question of developing, but then you understand where home is. And I think it's a young age to understand what you're missing,
Yeah.
because there was so much difference when you're a local girl and you are exposed to other things in a different area.
Right.
You're like, well, everything is brand new. Everything is, you know, it's as if you're a local girl in Long Island. If you go to Massachusetts, everything is just great. I want to move here. I want to be here.
Right,
Right.
right.
It's the same kind of feeling, and it was just a wonderful experience with a different vibe, a different way of living.
Yeah.
But coming home,
Yeah.
it's home.
Yeah, yeah,
Long
I get it.
Island, New York
So,
is
so it was a good
home.
thing for you.
Yes.
You were looking forward to it.
Yes, it was time.
Yeah,
It was time.
yeah.
And we missed it. Not that I have a large family, but every holiday was
Yeah,
small. It was
yeah,
just-
yeah,
it's
intimate,
hard.
more intimate.
Yes,
But so you
yes.
were there 7 years. So obviously you went to college.
I did
Did you
go to
continue your
De Anza.
education? I know you did go to. You went
I went to De Anza College
De
for a
Anza
couple of
College,
years,
and then you
yes.
also went to NYU. I guess when you came back here, School of Continuing Education.
Yes, I did a couple of things relative to child care development as
Okay.
well as human resources studies.
Okay.
So I developed 2 certificate programs in those types
Did you
of
want to
things.
be a teacher when you were younger?
I wanted to be a comedian when I was younger. I wanted to be a psychologist when I was younger. I wanted to be
okay.
a model when I was younger. I
Okay.
wanted to do a lot of things when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I was thinking more of the childhood development on, I had my children later, what would I do? Where would I?
Right,
I'm just
right.
was trying to put myself in a place where I could develop myself and be able to raise my children as well.
Well, speaking about modeling, you did some modeling.
I did do.
And we have some pics. And the first pic is adorable. And you said you were 16 in
I
that
was
pic?
16 in that picture. My goodness.
I love it. I love it.
I
I'm
have to
digging
tell
the
you,
whole,
can I
the
tell you a
whole
real quick story about
southern
that?
vibe.
Those were a size 3, I believe.
Listen, I was never,
And-
I was a 3 at birth, okay? So
Yes,
it doesn't
but they didn't fit me, okay? Because I'm a very tall woman, but I remember I had to go out with a bathing suit on this particular show, and then I was stuck. And I needed somebody to help me with my pants. Somebody help me put my pants on.
You didn't have a bed to
and
lie
then you
down
gotta
on,
go back,
right?
and yes. So and look, of course, 80s.
Oh,
big
I
hair,
love
right?
that. I love that. It's so like Vogue.
I enjoyed that
Vogue
one.
and 80s. I
It was
love
a wonderful
it.
studio did those pictures.
Oh,
in.
that's beautiful.
Did a
really.
couple of modeling
How
shows
much
and
fun.
things like that.
Now,
so-
how'd you get into, thank you. How did you get into the modeling? How did that start for you?
You know what I thought? I could get into maybe catalog type
Yes,
of
yeah,
modeling
print-
and
print
things.
work.
Print work, correct. And so I thought, okay, but you know, models are found when they're very young. They're 16, 17. I was after 17. They have no interest, but I was tall, very thin.
Yes.
And I said, well,
and
why
beautiful.
not?
You're a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
You
You
are.
too.
You have beautiful blue eyes. And
Thank you. You too.
wonderful
Excuse
bone
us.
structure. You do.
Thank
You're just
you.
beautiful. And
Thank you very much.
And your mother's beautiful too.
Thank you. I appreciate
and it runs
that.
in the family.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But what had happened was I figure, okay, well, people needed portfolios and you needed to get those things done. So I tried to do one on my own, which I did have, but then I managed to get into an agency. And you would think in those days they would say, we'll take some photographs of you and see how you do.
Right.
It was, no, we're charging you $300 and we'll take 36 pictures. And I thought, well, that's it? I mean, you know, and those are not digital pictures where you could take it.
No.
This is
Yeah.
36 pictures.
Yeah.
And the woman looked at me and she said, well, at least you might be able to show them to your grandchildren. And I thought, grandchildren?
Oh my God.
I'm in my early 20s, you know. I'm thinking, what do you mean grandchildren? So it didn't last long and I just couldn't propel. I just thought, okay, maybe this is just not for me. And you have to have that personality
Now, all
to
that
keep on
was
driving.
really in while you were in California,
No,
right?
that the pictures are, the first
The
picture was in
16
California, yes.
yeah.
But the others were locally here, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you know, my sister, I wanted to get my sister into plus size modeling. My sister's gorgeous. She looks like Delta Burke.
Yes,
Really,
yes.
really pretty.
Beautiful.
And she worked at night. And I said, you have to hit the pavement during the day. but she wanted me to come with her. I'm like, work. I have a real
Yes,
job.
I
I
know.
can't come with you.
I
And it just
understand.
kind of like fell through the cracks. I'll show you her one pick. But yeah, you go to that Barbizon or that Barbizon or whatever place.
That's what we're used
right?
to be
Where
in the early,
they
in the
charge you the
80s,
money,
right?
they take your
Yes,
pics,
yes,
right? And then you're like,
yes.
okay, good luck.
Yes.
You know, that kind of thing. But now
Right.
the legit places today, just to let everyone know, is if they're interested in you, they will take your pics for free and they will try to find you work
Yes.
because they don't get paid unless you get paid. That's
Correct.
the legitimate places today, you know.
Yes.
But back in the day, we wanted to do whatever we had to do to do what we wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So you dabbled in modeling,
Yes,
and
I
that was
did.
great. But you also studied. You studied film production. You studied.
did.
Was that later on, or was
Yes.
that later on?
I dabbled a lot in even my 30s, but
Yeah.
really to take this part of my life very seriously, it really came after being laid off in the late 2008, 9, 10 period. And I really just said, okay, you've never taken time off from work. You've been working since you're 18 years old.
Right.
What do you want to do? And I just thought, well, why don't you try to look at this? I mean, how silly people might think, but no, people do things in their 80s, so there's nothing silly about
Yeah.
it. So the pathway was to educate yourself. And I thought, okay, take another local class here, take a writing class, which I ended up working with a writer after his class for 2 years and a group of people. So I have a feature written. And I just started to learn about things that maybe I could do on my own or
Right.
not on my own, but
Right.
create the space.
Yes.
And now that we're in a digital age, I think that was the beginning of where people could do that a little bit easier,
Right.
and develop themselves.
Yeah, because
So-
you studied film production, you studied filmmaking
Yes.
and screenwriting, and you really wanted to. All right, so here's the $1 million question: what made you get into indie films?
Well, I think I really wanted to be an actress in some way or be
Yes,
that
and you've-
way.
you've dabbled-
And
you've
I've
dabbled
done
in
a little
acting.
bit. I have, but I don't. It is not my comfort zone.
You
and I
feel
don't.
more comfortable behind.
Yes, I learned that. I
Okay.
think that I wanted to, but it's
Well, you could've
very
surprised me in one of the
it's
shorts
very
you did.
They're very defeating sometimes,
Yeah.
and so competitive and things like that. And being an older person, but even when it was just younger, I just never felt comfortable in my own skin sometimes.
Right,
so
right.
learning that was a big early on.
Like a learning. Yeah.
curve for me.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still in that learning curve.
Yeah.
But it was important to see if I could do something else.
Okay.
And I just said, well,
And you
know,
did.
I said,
You did.
I like to organize. I like to structure. Well, wait, that's all about this. I like to write. I like to do this. And so I tried to say, okay, I don't have to be here. There are wonderful actors and actresses who can do this so much better than me. There are things that I know that I can do,
Right.
but I don't fit every part, every
Right.
character. So this was a way to develop myself and be part of something that I wanted to be in. The word I use is artful, and just what is that?
Right.
It's trying to find your piece, your space,
Right.
where you fit in, and
well,
where
you
you feel
definitely
like
did. I mean, because you have a number of short films that you've done.
10 so far.
10.
It's a lot.
Thank you. It is a lot, and you write, you produce, you direct. There is a couple though that you have been in that you did act in. I have to
Oh, I
say,
did?
you were in this Italian. You did one episode of some Italian series.
Oh, I did.
You did.
I did.
And it's now I'm not now it's cheese.
The Ferrettis, I did too. Then,
Well,
yeah.
the Fontanas.
Fontanas. I'm sorry, with Jerry Ferretti. Yes, I'm sorry.
All right, so
sorry about that.
just to skip ahead. All right, wait, hold
Sorry,
on.
I apologize.
It's okay now because I saw you in it.
Oh, and it was fun too. I enjoyed it. See, that was fun.
But you did an Italian TV series. I'm going to translate it into English. It's called May God Help Us, but it's in the Italian translation of Cidoro Ci Aiuti, which I'm botching it up. But you did one episode
I did.
with that.
Yes, I did.
And it's a comedy.
Yes, it's comedy, yes.
But that's fun. And then yes, you were in the Fontanas.
did.
Was it a waitress or a hostess?
Yes.
Both.
Yes. Mostly a hostess who...
Because I'm watching the
poured a
Fontanas
couple of things.
at
Yes,
Jerry
it's the-
Ferretti's festival.
yes.
We're watching it, and I'm going,
Oh, it was
is that
fun.
Maria?
Yes, I enjoyed it. It was a nice night. I enjoyed it a lot. Yes, I was.
You know, but then, you know, going back to some of your work, which we're going to, you wrote, you starred, and you also directed one of the shorts called Every Good Piece.
Yes,
and that I saw, and I think you were amazing in that. You play a
Thank you very
mom,
much.
and you really were. You were amazing, and it has to do with a son's addiction and him coming
Yes.
home, not coming home, and I think you were great in that.
I
have
actually
to
wrote
tell
that
you.
as thank you very much.
You
I
really
appreciate
were.
that. I wrote that as a play, and I did the play at the One Act North Port Film
Yes,
Play
yes,
Festival.
yes.
And then I decided to make it into a film, and it was actually not the film was true to source, but the feeling was true to source, to where any parent can relate to, and they let their kid
Oh,
go,
yeah.
and what if they turn? What if they go bad? What if they
Fall into the wrong
fall-
crowd.
Correct. And it was just a concern. And I thought, okay, well, that's all right. But I wanted to write on that. And I wanted to write on it. How do you make, writing is so special to me. How do you make your characters interesting? How do you make, it's just not there. It is above the character level.
Right.
So how I utilized the bobblehead thing and how speaking to a bobblehead was how she's still connected to her son, who
Right.
we don't know if he's alive or dead, but
Right.
it was a different way to do it. And just to tell you, though, on the truth pattern, my because it's my son's bobblehead. It was about him going to school, and perhaps today he graduates, and I'm so excited. We just got news today that he's graduating from college, so it's been a long haul. But hey, Cameron, if you're watching, Mommy loves you. Okay,
That's great.
So he's almost there. So
Oh
it's
my
been
gosh.
5.5 years or something like that.
It's been a journey.
It's been a journey. But
Oh, wow. Well, we're going to take my next journey. We have to take a break. So don't go away. More with Maria Filippone when we get back.
thank you.
Wonder Woman was everything to little girls, especially that look like me. She stands for being a voice for people that need a voice. My organization renovates homes for people with disabilities. And when I come home, a self-care routine makes me feel my best. I'm very proud of the difference that we're making, and to see that impact in my community inspires me to work even harder for everyone around me.
Well, hi there, Theresa. It's John York from General Hospital. I am just checking in because apparently you have a great talk show called Tea Time on Strong Island TV. I want you to have continued great success and have a lot of fun. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun, and that's pretty much the key to everything, isn't it? So continued success. I'm proud of you. Have a great day, Theresa. Bye.
Yes, he is. Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I just want to give some shout outs. Michael Norton's watching in Florida, Ann Rothy, of course, Bruno's watching, Deborah, Fran, and who else? Donna, thank you everyone for watching the show. Please like it, please share it. I'm with Maria Filippone. She's a writer, producer, director, sometimes an actress. You never know, she makes like a cameo here and there. And listen, we were talking about, I also want to say it's a family affair for you because your wonderful, wonderful, fabulous husband, Tony,
Thank you.
actually acted in It's on the Other side.
Yes.
He actually
Good
acted
Piece.
in every Good Piece, and he also helps produce and helps you produce a couple of
Yes,
other
he lets us spend
projects.
my money. Our
Thank
money,
you.
excuse me, I shouldn't say my money. Thank you, Tony. I have to be truthful, though. Tony's been in so many pieces where he's been the guy that helps the person that's on the ground.
Yeah.
And he has been on the cutting floor of every single film that I've ever done, except Every Good Piece.
Oh.
So, Tony, I'm giving you a shout out.
Yeah,
all right?
shout out to Tony. Oh, that is so sweet. But during the break we were talking of how you mentioned the Northport Festival.
Yes.
So they have an annual. It's a one-act play. It's an annual Northport festival. That's actually where you started.
Yes, as it turned out, they were having, if you wanted to join as a director and become an apprentice for one play,
yeah.
why don't you join? And there were some directors who were willing to do that. So
Yeah.
I jumped on
You
a
jumped
play.
on, woman, you jumped on it big time. You were
I
in the
jumped on
7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th.
I've directed 7, I believe, plays there. And
you also did a charity event. You also
yes.
did the 7th annual. When you were an associate director for that one called The King's Ravine.
That was the first one.
That was the very,
actually.
very first one,
yes.
right?
And it was a wonderful experience, and
Yeah.
it empowered me to feel that, hey, I can do this. Sometimes you just need somebody to hold your hand and
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
oh, I can take that next step. I feel confident that I can do something.
Right.
Not exactly sure if it's total, but
Right.
I was confident that experience just propelled me to keep on going, and I just continued on from there.
Yeah. And then the 8th annual, you did the Pete and Johnny in Paradise.
Yes, that was with Rob Ripp and Sal Terzullo.
Yeah.
And it was actually a nice little piece. I really enjoyed doing it.
Now,
with
you
them.
did something for the 9th annual. You did Midlife Conversations.
Correct.
Now, that you didn't only direct, but you wrote it. And
Yes.
then that eventually became a short film.
Correct.
With Frank Fiella, my on-screen husband at times.
And Gina
Scarta,
Yes.
who I also, know. And so that was a comedy, a
Yes.
romantic
Romantic comedy,
comedy,
yes,
per
yes.
se. But you did that again first. And then the 10th you did Just for One Day. You also wrote that one.
Just for One Day actually turned out to be Every Good Piece.
Oh,
So
okay.
just so you know, that's what I did with that one.
So you did adapt quite a few
yes.
into films, which is really exciting. And then you did a Double Exposure.
Yes, that
And
was
then,
somebody else's
and then you did
piece.
Little Pink Pancakes.
And that was actually done by Gina Scarta. She wrote
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we
And you
we
directed that.
and produced
Yeah.
that. for
And
one
then,
of the
like I said,
festivals.
you did
And that
mo-
was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gina. It
Yeah,
was a
Gina.
great
Gina's
little
in
piece.
Florida now, but I'm going to send this to her so she can see it. And then you did Marco's Hope, which was actually it was a charity event.
Yes.
And then the King's Ravine, which I mentioned before, you were associate producer. What is your process when it comes to writing? Like, how does it work for you? Like, do you get a subject in your head? Do you see the characters? Is it something that maybe, you went shopping that day and something silly happened in the supermarket, or?
It can happen like that. Actually, we had a meeting at work today, and it was just a tail end of year meeting. And I shared the fact that I'm a Macy's person, and every time I'm in Macy's, people stop me.
Hey,
And what is it about my face that makes people
10%
stop?
on Rakuten. Just let you know.
Okay, so one lady stopped me out of the blue, and we just started to talk, and she said, I just gave my husband some divorce papers. And I thought, oh, and I'm not looking for a story, but I'm thinking,
Wow.
this could really develop.
Yep.
If I said, well, if you happen to be looking for a private investigator, do I have someone for you? Or, hey, bingo. And you could develop a story that way. So I do think of things like that sometimes, where
right.
real life kind of falls into your lap,
Yes.
and you say, well, where could you take that? Because this has happened a couple of times in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's some really interesting people who really
Everyone,
need to
well,
talk.
Everyone has a story.
Yes.
Everyone has a story.
Yes.
That is for sure. What was everything you've written? What was the fastest, quickest thing? Which one was there one that stands out that really just came to you and you just banged it out?
I think for me, the process is to always try to bang it out.
Okay.
Because we always think we're going to remember things, and we're not.
Lord,
And sometimes
yes.
you have to understand, writing is not about getting it all down right the first time. It is about rewrites and draft work, and continue to add, subtract.
Right,
Subtract
right,
is more
right.
like it.
Yeah, yeah.
But taking that position is the way to do it. You need, otherwise you'll stay in the first page all the time, and you'll reread it and reread it. And I'm sure if there's writers out there, we all know we're in the same position. Just vomit it out is the expression.
Yeah, yeah.
Throw it out there.
Right.
And some people write every day, and that's great. I don't, but it's winter time, and I like to write around the winter time because it's cozier. And
What's the shortest one you've written?
What is the? I have. I killed my husband.
I don't know because I don't know what the shortest or the longest one was. Because they're all short.
First or second or third. The first one was the longest one.
Okay.
The second one was a documentary
Okay.
off the vine. The next one after that was a shorter version. I actually played that. I played a Russian woman in that one. Yes.
Interesting.
And I killed him with my words, is what it was. And it was called Deadly Words. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And that's, but it was about a Russian woman who was sick by her grotesque husband, and she was just very verbal to him. So that was
Really?
maybe about a 7-minute,
Okay,
8-minute
all right,
spot.
okay.
So
So it's
but
it's usually
most of them are 20 minutes, 15,
20 minutes, right?
20
And it's usually a minute a page, correct? Is that
Correct,
how it
correct.
normally
That's
works?
usually.
Okay. Because you saw my show last week with Jack, and I kind of made an announcement.
loved it.
Thank you so much.
It was a great show.
Thank you. But I
Jack was
kind
a
of
great-
made an announcement that I'm working on 2 things.
Yes.
And now that I put
And
them
now
out
I'm
there,
interested in knowing. I
I'm
really
going
do
to
wanna
tell
know.
you.
Okay.
But you did something called 3 Slices of Delirium, which actually you were a production assistant back then, and you.
Yes, I did.
That was a horror
Actually,
film.
they're still working on producing that, but I
Okay.
acted as a production assistant
Yes.
on that for the trailer.
Yeah.
And that was a wonderful experience for me too. When you are getting into the business, do everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm a good hostess, so I cooked, I did everything, I made sure everybody was comfortable. I also got to see how people produced things and how actors got into set mode and camera work and lighting. And when you have that, when that's been afforded to you, take the opportunity to get on set and feel that out, because it's your classroom.
Right.
So thank you, Keith. I appreciate that very much. He was wonderful. He let me go on that. I actually did some other things.
Yeah,
with
you
Keith.
did.
I did a PSA with him.
Well, we mentioned before you looked at all shorts, and then you had also did an educational PSA.
Yes, I did.
For Family and Children
Yes.
Association. You did My Boyfriend. You directed, wrote, produced that.
Yes, that was my very first one. It was called 917, and it was very, very long, but and not perfect. And I did all the camera work. I did the editing, and
Wow.
So it was the first time. Younger people when they're working on editing, they know how to connect things so much easier. So it was my mistress.
Right, right.
I went to it all the time. I go to all my writing as babies. They're
Yes,
like
of course.
my lovers.
Yeah,
They really are.
Yeah.
I loved doing that. I loved shooting it. But it was a little bit longer. And yes, you could have tightened it up. So I did. I went from 40 minutes down to 23, and there was a lot of things that I didn't have to include.
Right.
But when you're in training, just go for it. You don't. Everybody thinks that their first thing is the best thing they'll ever produce, and it isn't. Or you can redo it, or there's other ways to get you into another
Yes.
places. But we did have locations, and
Right.
we
What do you find is the hardest thing about making a film? What is the hardest? Is it casting? Is it location? Is it the funds? Is it I don't know,
Do you know-
lighting? Is it sound?
I think a lot of people would agree. Sound is so important in a film. Of course, it's the storyline. You want to connect with your audience, but that's not up to you. That's not in your control. Either somebody likes it or they don't like
Right,
it.
right.
What is up to you and what is your responsibility is to get the great visual. Have that moment, and I believe all of films are about grabbing moments. Life is full of just moments.
Amen.
But audio, can kill a film. And I think we don't realize how that off sound or the not equalized sound can really affect a audience member in their experience, because they're going to be concentrating on what's that crackling noise, and it's not that bad, but you know the difference from, oh, this is a real good level and this is a level above, and how do you get clean it up a little bit. So if anything, I would recommend audio. Is your baby. And in my last film that I did in Addiction, I did send it out to an audio person in California, and he just made it so seamless. And also Bill was somebody who recorded it, but it was good. It wasn't bad. It was just that extra, and he gave me a soundtrack.
That was filmed in a church, correct? And there's a lot of acoustics. In a church, so that can be very, very tricky.
Absolutely.
And then when we filmed the Graveyard Medium, which we're going to talk about too, that was outside, and we had a lot of challenges.
We had a lot of challenges.
We had a lot of challenges.
And do you know how many times? Of course, I considered audio in that piece because all of it is outside. But every time I went at noontime. I went on the weekends. I went lunchtime.
You try to see when there's the least amount of noise.
But I didn't go at 10 o'clock in the morning where every landscaper during the week was.
Oh my God.
It wasn't the time.
Oh,
right?
It's so funny.
So that was. You know, who knew so many planes flew over Long Island? I guess you know if you're in Queens,
when
but
they
right here.
Them.
Oh my goodness, you can't imagine. So, but it wasn't that bad because you can have acoustic background noise and acoustic sounds. However, where are these people coming from? Every blower, everything, and this is a little town. So it was very, very funny.
Oh my gosh! Oh, listen, we're going to take my next break. When we come back, we are going to continue with more of Maria's work, and get into how actually we met and how I ended up working for her. So don't go away. We'll be back after this.
All right. Is everybody having a good time tonight or what? That's what I thought.
I don't want to come back down from this cloud. How you doing? It's Sal, the voice of Valentinetti. Why are you watching me? You should be watching Theresa Canastraci Tea Time with Theresa Canastraci Farrell. And make sure you follow Theresa on Facebook, Tea Time with Theresa Canastraci Farrell. We'll see you there.
I love the way you say my name. I love. Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. Hey, some more shout outs. George Buzzio's watching. George had a film called Kim Kahana, and he said having your actors mic'd up is very key, and that is absolutely right. And hello to my beautiful friend and wonderful actor Emilio DeFabio is watching, who I've had on the show as well. We're here. I'm here with writer, producer, and director, and sometimes actress, Maria Filippone. And how did we meet? We met over Facebook.
Did we meet over Facebook?
You reached out to me.
I did reach out to you.
She reached out to me.
I think I might have seen something.
You saw something
appealing about you.
You saw something in me.
It is. I always say that she's got the most beautiful blue eyes. But being in an independent film world, you have to reach out to people, and I think that I reached out to you. I just thought that this one particular part would have been appropriate for you, and I did. I might have seen you somewhere, and I thought just
She reached out to me, and I was
Oh.
like, wow. I was like just so flattered, really, and just so grateful. And she's like,
And it's hard for me to do that because it's not normal for me to do that.
Really?
Yes, but
Well, I'm glad you
I'm getting
did.
really good at it.
So, just to back up, we're going to back up a little bit because I want to go over more creds that this woman has, because she is constantly directing, producing, and writing. Off the Vine was a doc.
Yes. It's actually because I made that. I'm not Italian. I'm only Italian by inception. And
I say injection.
Injection. That's what it is. Not inception. It's injection.
It's injection. You're Italian by
I'm a little
injection.
bit Norm Crosby-ish. You know who Norm Crosby is? Well, I have a little bit of that in me, and a little bit
Yes.
phonically challenged.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
you know, the Italians make their tomato sauce each year, and
Right, right. Once
one
a
of
year,
my friends,
we jar it.
He said, "Hey, would you do something for a local family?" And I did, and the colors are, and it's not very long, but it's a little documentary about spending the day with this family. Maybe it was 2 days. I can't remember. But how they jar it. And it wasn't about jarring. It was also about, we had photography. We saw the beautiful redness and how the cooking was and what was the best
how much
part.
love
And
goes
how much
into
love.
it.
And that year, they only had like 8 people. They do 450 jars.
Wow.
Every other year they've got 25 people. It just so happened that just didn't have a lot of people that time.
Right, right.
But it was just so beautiful and such a wonderful gift that I could give to them because
Oh,
they have
that's
a
sweet.
recording.
Yeah.
But the process made me want to do it, and from then on I started to make my own. So I make sauce usually every other year
Good
because
for
I make
you,
enough.
girl.
So I can
Ooh.
make 90 jars at one
That's
time.
good
That's
for
a
you.
lot for me.
Good for you. You did a drama that you acted in, you directed, wrote, and produced, Deadly Words.
That was the Russian lady.
Yes,
So
that's
that
when you
one I
played the
did.
Russian
Yes,
woman.
I did.
Then you did Step Right In, which was a drama.
Yes, I never released Step Right In.
Okay.
It was a pretty aggressive movie
Subject?
to do.
Yeah.
But it was just, the subject was just so me.
Right.
And we actually filmed at the Vanderbilt in
Oh, yeah.
Centerport.
Uh-huh.
I rented that out for a day, a location.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was one of my first big, like, couldn't I just, do a little location? No, I went out
Right,
of the
no.
Vanderbilt. But it was, I needed to find
It's
the
so
place that was
majestic, though.
between heaven.
Yes.
Where do you go? This
In
movie is
between.
before you're here. Where do you go before you go to heaven?
Right.
And this was this majestic place. And
Love
when I
it.
went to go see a Shakespearean play there,
Right.
I thought, I have found my place.
Right, see?
So that, and I find
So
that
you knew
I do that.
you wanted to incorporate it in
Yes.
something.
And it was just the place to be. But overzealous and probably too many characters. And so it's a finished product, but it's not up to snuff. And I won't release it, even though,
Yeah,
monies
yeah.
were involved. And there's no reason
I get
to do
it.
that.
Rose Has Her Thorns. You produced horror flick.
That was just a small classroom type of
Yeah.
deal, and we produced a short little horror, and it was wonderful to do that with an ensemble cast, and it was
That's
wonderful to
great.
do.
Then
in
you
a
did
classroom
Moments,
setting.
which was a drama. Now that
Loved
was an
Moments.
adaptation. Larry Matin? Did I say it right? Is it Matin? M-A-T-T-I-n?
Matlin,
Oh, it's,
M-A-T-T-I-N.
I thought it's T-T-I-N. It's not? Okay.
Yes.
Matin.
Maltin, M-A-L-T-I-N.
Oh, I'm
I think,
sorry.
yes.
M-A-L. Malton.
And
Sorry, La.
Larry had written a short story. It was a page and a half, and I said, "Could I take this and make my own movie?" And he said, "I would be more than happy for anyone to take something
Wow.
of mine." And I created a 15-minute film and did all the camera work on that, and I loved doing the camera work. I teeter on all of that, but you have to be always doing it is just very hard for me.
Yeah.
But I just loved making that film, and with each one, you just get better and
Yeah.
you develop,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you can
yeah,
see
yeah.
how you get it. I loved the film premise. I loved the visuals of the film, and we did okay in the festival circuit with that.
Nice.
So it was nice.
Yes. You did Over Tea, which was a drama.
I loved Over Tea. It was
T-E-A.
yes, that is a story about a mother and daughter, and what we talk about, you know, the 10.
Yes. Yes.
But how women and daughters feel about their mothers sometimes, because
Yeah.
mothers
And
can
then we
be-
turn into
can
them.
Be quite yes, we do turn to them, but they're quite critical of us, and
Yes.
it's really hard to accept
In their
because
own
they-
loving way.
Oh, it is always loving, so they say. But it was a beautifully done film. We did that in Sag Harbor at one of the restaurants there, Harbor Mist.
Right.
It's a wonderful restaurant. So
Yeah.
I utilized that space as well as some other locations, and it was a beautiful film. I will always love that. And my good friend Loria, who played the lead, was forever grateful to me, and I'm always grateful to her for her presence. She was just
nice.
just wonderful in that piece.
And then, like we said, we talked about Midlife Conversations, Frank Viola, Gina Scarta. Then you did Every Good Piece, which was also a drama, and you acted in that.
Well, that was
That
the
was
film that
the-
I did with
yeah.
the college student. Yes.
So now we get to Graveyard Medium, the Graveyard Medium, and
Yes.
that is the one that I'm in. And it was fun. I had a blast. That was Michael Fideli, Frank Viola, Jerry Glennon, Lisa. How you say her last name?
Lisa Meckes.
Meckes,
yes.
sorry, and Nicolette Mango.
Yes.
And it was a very small ensemble, and it's important to you, and it's important for you to have all of us at a table doing a reading.
Yes.
Why is that so important to you?
Not only reading, but rehearsing.
Rehearsing.
And I find that's where I get my kicks, watching what you've written, what actors bring in, and they bring their techniques and their tools into the moment, and how a character comes alive. I've often said that some of the moments that happen in rehearsal time are the better moments, even not captured on film. It's
Yeah,
just
it's true.
Sometimes there's just that time, and you want to hold it, and it doesn't come out the same when you're filming.
Right.
But in the end, it doesn't matter to me because I got that moment. Living in the moment is really important too. Just
Right.
almost like a spectator, not that you're even directing or producing.
Tell everyone what the Graveyard Medium is about.
Graveyard Medium is about a woman who lost her husband, and she goes to the graveyard every single day, the cemetery, to just kind of be there. And while she's there, she develops the ability to become a medium and speaks and assists other people who have gone to visit past loved ones, and she develops this ability to talk to their loved ones.
Right.
However, what she's really there is not necessarily for that. That passes her time. It's for her own personal connection, and she's not gaining that connection. And but perhaps she does.
And we have a clip. Let's show the trailer. We
Yes.
don't have a clip. We have the trailer. Let's show the trailer.
Priscilla. That's her name.
Ew, that's impossible. I mean, how could you even know that?
I didn't, but your wife told me.
We all miss someone.
Oh, no, not again.
Whoa. That never happened to me before. She just jumped into my body, then out.
That was my Haley. Bring her back.
I'm happy that I can connect for people. But you're the one I want to connect with.
I have to say, it's a beautiful film. It really is. It touches everyone who sees this film, and the film was in Jerry Ferretti's Film Festival.
Yes, as well.
And
I was out of town, but
and
yes,
again,
it
we
was.
also showed it at the Belmore Theater. And I
Yes.
have to say, I mean, everyone who sees it, we've all lost a loved one. We've all lost someone. We all are thinking about someone, especially during the holidays. Like the holidays are here, and the first thing we think about is who's not here with us. So it's so real in the again that we've all lost somebody. We all miss them, and I think everyone who sees this film can connect to it. It's just so special. It really is a special film. Yeah.
Thank you. You got a minute so I can tell you from the premise of what?
Of course we have a
This
minute.
is the writing technique.
Yes.
So Loria, who did Over Tea with me.
Yes, which I have to interrupt you real quick. Paul Lorcano said great film.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Yes.
So what had happened was, I said, Loria, if you were to write a film, what would you write about? She goes, well, I'm newly widowed, and I would write about missing, or not missing, but about maybe what my life was after becoming a widow and being alone. And so you just can't have that kind of film. So figuring out what makes her special, what makes her more, what will make her connect with the audience. But what Loria did say to me, she said the one thing that she would say about is like, everything's the same and nothing's the same when you passed.
Right.
And I always kept that. And I was going to have her do the piece, but then I decided to change the whole cast and do it totally different.
Right.
But it did come from that premise of, oh, here's an idea. How do you build the next layer? How do you get the ensemble cast, what are their issues? What are their personalities? What are they going through? How do they bring something into the fold? And then, of course, Jerry did such a beautiful job in that monologue part. It was just,
well, which I have to say, I played Jean.
Yes.
And
you were comic relief. You were really. we work on what's your background story?
Well, that's the whole thing. And when I told her what I thought it should be, the first thing you said to me was, I didn't think about it that way.
No, I did not think about
it
that way.
I came at this character from a totally different direction that I actually personally related to.
Yes.
And it really, hit home for me, and it made the scene so much more real for me.
Absolutely.
And that's what I liked about it. And I love that you gave me the freedom to do that.
Absolutely, because I loved that piece was coming alive that way.
Yeah.
And after a while, you let it go, Theresa. Just have at it, because it did feel right for you as the character as well.
Correct.
So it felt very authentic. And that's just the way I felt that go with it.
It was
great.
I mean, it was just so much fun, and it was a great shoot. We filmed that. You want to tell everyone where we filmed that?
Yes, it was the Locust Valley Cemetery, or Laddingtown, because they like to say Laddingtown.
Okay.
And again, we were talking about sound, and they allowed me the front part of the old cemetery. Laddingtown Locust Valley Cemetery is probably one of the most beautiful cemeteries you might visit. I used to drive my bike in there when I was very young. We used to hang out in there. So if we had a little bit of the back part, we could have saved some time. But it worked out just the way it's supposed to be. It was lovely. And it was lovely to work with all of you, as well as the technicians behind the scene.
It was great. We had a really, Rob, shout out to Rob.
And EJ Acosta, who was there. It was a really,
he and
really
I
good time.
met in acting class. It's so wild. EJ and I.
Oh, you did? Yeah, EJ's terrific.
So it's great. So listen, we're going to take my last break. When we come back, we're going to talk about addiction and that wonderful short film. So don't go away. We'll be back after this. Hey everybody, it's Theresa from Tea Time. What's my show about? I interview people in the entertainment industry, producers, directors, actors, and guess what? My show is on every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on Channel 20 on Optimum TV. So tune in, because it's fun, interesting, and exciting.
Doc, who's the best comedian you know?
Theresa Farrow.
And who's the best actor actress you know?
Theresa Farrow.
And who's the best cast member in Bat Boy?
Teresa Farrow.
Who's got the best radio?
Teresa Farrow.
Stop. Who's your favorite Guinea?
Teresa Farrow.
Who are you loving right now?
Teresa Farrow.
All right, Duck. I love you too, baby.
Love you as always.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Hey, thanks. Lauren Sherman is watching and Donna Morales, and I'm glad you're tuning in, Donna, because we're going to talk about you next and addiction. So let's talk about addiction.
Yes,
Addiction, again, also adaptation from John Pasadino.
Pasadino,
Okay,
yes.
so this was something that was a one-man play. It was only one character.
Yes.
Correct?
It was actually at the Northport.
Okay.
One act.
Yes.
And I said to myself, there was something that stirred me up, and everybody said, oh, it's too long, it's this. I'm like, I'm going to do this one day, and I stuck to it, and it's about 5.5 years.
Wow.
And I just, and John said,
That's
thank you for
dedication.
keeping it, because I asked him 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 1 year ago,
wow.
how do you
Just
feel
to keep
about me
making
approaching?
sure.
Correct. And
You can't change your mind, John, at this time.
Correct.
Right.
And he said, he gave me his blessing to do whatever I needed to do, because it's hard to listen to a character just speak for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, one character. So how do you make it interesting?
Well, you took Michael Fideli,
yes,
who was in The Graveyard
wonderful.
Medium with me,
Yes.
and you took
Michael was terrific.
Lilo Grunwald
Yes.
and Donna Morales, and
Yes.
you took the three of them, and you did such an amazing job. And again, when we showed this at Belmore Theater, John was actually there and loved it. And had such lovely words about it, and
Yes, he
how
did.
you incorporated the ex-wife into it, because that had nothing to do with what you originally had seen.
It was a corpse.
Right.
Of
Well,
the
Lilo
ex-wife,
plays
so
a dead person,
with
but
the- she's alive in the room.
she's alive in the
Let's
room.
say.
The husband hears her.
Yes.
And we see her, but he doesn't, right? Because she's in the
Right.
casket. This famous casket.
Yes.
Famous casket. She had to get it. She needed a casket, and this woman got one off of.
No, I actually got it from a friend who bought it from Craigslist. And you got it for really cheap, but they got it from a man who made his own casket. And
It's just a funny
he
story.
eventually didn't die, and he didn't use it to get buried in.
Right.
So the person who ended up with it said, hey, honey, could we put it in the living room, and we could have a television come up and down, and we could just, maybe we could do that in the living room. And the wife said, I don't think so, dear. And so it was just kind of fun how, we have to share resources and things that we have.
Yeah.
So, anybody need a casket, let me know.
Yeah,
okay?
she's got one
I
for
have
rent.
it in,
That's
perhaps.
it. But you and I spoke to Michael when I had him on the show. You did this in one day.
Yes, we did. And
let me tell you something. Watching it, I know what went into this. And I think it's incredible that you filmed it in one day.
Yes.
Really.
Michael was not feeling well either, but he really rose to the occasion. He did an excellent job.
Did. Whatever was going on in him, he said he used.
Oh, yes.
He used and poured into that character.
Absolutely. And, but you have to do your work. You have to know where the church allowed me to go in. I took my pictures. I always take recordings as pictures, okay? So this way I know certain angles and things like that.
Right.
We also had a wonderful cameraman, cinematographer, Andrew Froning, he could just find that extra little thing in the background. I think, oh yes, that's it. So some people might find it too wordy, but other people who enjoy that pace will just find such merit in it. So it's out there on the festival tour, as well as Graveyard Medium, and we're getting some traction.
Another great film, and I want people to be able to find you. It's Maria. Say your maiden name. Sawich. All right, so it's Maria Sawch Philippone on Facebook, and then it's Sawich Philippone on Instagram. So in the last minute and a half, tell me what's next for you, my friend.
Oh,
Because it's wintertime and
It's wintertime.
you like
and
this time of year.
I have 2 stories that I'm working on.
Okay.
Millie Michaels, who works with me on my
Shout out
films.
to Millie.
Shout out to Millie.
Love
Hi,
you,
Millie.
Yes.
Millie is we're trying to work on a feature and trying to see how we could do that for this, perhaps the summertime.
Yes.
But that's a different animal, right? And a
Big,
different
big
approach.
time, yeah.
I do have a feature that I would love to do. But again, it's about having the resources. It's about having it in order. How do you do it? Not fast enough. You have to give your project integrity, and you have to give it its love and time and prep. And I would like to do that one day.
Well, I have to tell you, everything you do shows that.
Thank you.
It does. It shows that. It shows the love and the commitment and the patience, because you need, as we say in Italian, pazienza. You need pazienza to do what you do. And I'm excited for you, and I'm excited. It's going to be a wonderful 2024.
I hope so.
It really is.
For you too.
I
For
feel it
all
in my
of us.
bones.
For all of us. I think we're all kind of feeling that way,
I think,
right?
yeah. Something really is good. It's hiding around the corner. Listen, I want to thank you so much for finally agreeing to do this.
Yeah.
It was painless, and you had fun, right?
It was easy to be with you. It always is easy to be with you.
All right,
Teresa.
listen, I want to thank everyone for watching Tea Time and supporting me. I really do appreciate it. Listen, 2023 is over, and I won't see you now till 2024. So please tell everyone you love them. And I'll see you next time. Ciao, everybody.
Happy holidays, everybody.